Yeah, I got that. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, good morning. This is the Town of Ocean Ridge Special Magistrate Code Enforcement hearing for Tuesday, August 6, 2019. According to my computer, it is 10 o'clock. First item on today's agenda, this is if you have a code enforcement issue, you're in the right place. I don't know if we have any respondents present. I guess we'll get there in a minute. I'll go through, after item A, kind of the process in case any respondents appear in the next few minutes. The first item on our agenda is adoption of the June 4th, 2019 Special Magistrate hearing minutes. I reviewed those and will hereby adopt those right now. Next, we have looks like two cases on the agenda. One's a fine assessment, one's a violation hearing. I don't know if the town attorney or any respondents, were you expecting anyone?
Possibly one, but other than that, it'll just be the building official who will be testifying,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Perfect, thank you. Since it doesn't appear that we have any respondents yet, the process is simple. This is a special magistrate hearing. The cases are called in the order that they appear on the agenda. When you hear your name, if you are a respondent, please approach the podium to address both the town and myself. The town will put their evidence on in the case of fine assessment hearings and violation hearings first. You'll then get a chance to respond, speak with, and cross-examine any witnesses, present any evidence and testimony that you have, and then we'll kind of proceed that way. This is quasi-judicial, which we discussed at the last hearing, which means that the formal rules of evidence do not apply. However, any testimony is given under oath, under penalty of perjury. So at this time, I'll swear everyone in who is here to testify. If you're going to testify on any of the cases on today's agenda, if you could please rise and raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Thank you. And we'll start now with the fine assessment hearings. I'll turn it over to the town.
Yes, Your Honor, and what I would like to do is, I don't know if you have a copy, but I will enter into evidence that was already entered into evidence, the previous town file on 6009 North Ocean Boulevard. And under the order that you had previously entered on in June 4th, the applicant, and I imagine Mr. Brito's here on behalf of the property owner there, had 30 days in which to apply for a permit. It's my understanding that they have failed to make that deadline, and Mr. Cameron will testify to that. And there was also a second part of that fine as well, that within 90 days of obtaining a permit, that they would have to complete the demolition of the structure. So we're really here just talking about that first step that they have missed, and the imposition of a fine on that. But let me go ahead, and we also have some administrative cost involved in this as well under Town Exhibit Number 1, which is in the amount of $386, and we would like to impose those at the conclusion of today's hearing. But let me go ahead, and I will give you a copy of the file. And Mr. Cameron, I guess you can go ahead and explain where we are in the process as far as the permitting or lack thereof.
Good morning, Your Honor. What we have at this point is incomplete permit application. The applicant was required to provide all documentation so that the permit could be issued for the demolition. He has experienced financial difficulties that's prohibited from doing that, and the applicant, Mr. Brito will explain that a little bit further. So at this point, the only thing we're asking for is a fine assessment.
Okay, and so when you say they've submitted an application, but it wasn't complete, is
It's
that
an
the issue?
incomplete application.
Okay. Sir, do you want to approach the podium, please, and state your name for me for the record?
My name is Ron Brito with Enterprise Contractors in Delray Beach.
And go ahead if you can explain to me what's going on.
Okay, basically, I can tell you the whole background of it is the owner and Mr. Escobar sold a business about 7 years ago overseas, and he was collecting the funds back, and it was the Homeland Security put a hold on his funds for $18 million, and he's been fighting that to get it back for the last 6 years, and it's got to the point now where the money is in his attorney's account, And when the government released the money to his attorney, they put the money in the attorney's account, and now the attorney has holds on his account. They put it, the attorney went to court, they got it relieved, the money's supposed to be freed this morning, sometime, or within this week. They said, the government has no more holds on it, and we're waiting for the money to be relieved. At this point, I applied for a demolition permit, but I've had the septic tank emptied. I had to get a survey of the property for the temporary fence permit. FPL is scheduled to go in and turn the power off. I need to cut the water lines for the sewer, for the water, and delete that, and then we'll be ready for demolition.
And what date did you apply for the permit?
Let me see. I think I turned in the one that my notice of commencement was on July 19th, or 8th of July. And I don't know if I kept a copy of it. I don't think I made a copy of the permit, the actual permit.
That's okay if you don't have a copy of it. So, but the town is saying that your permit application is not complete, so.
Yes, it's not.
You've begun the process, but you have not.
Yeah, we're
fully
not
obtained.
completed
So you
it yet.
understand that is.
Yeah, we got, everything's ready, and believe me, Mr. Escobar wants nothing more than to get out of that property more than you guys want him out. And he is, he's been living like a vagrant for the last year or so in the property too, because all of his funds are tied up, and he's trying to make it day to day, just getting by. And but it's there. We're right there at the finish line now. The money's in the account. It's just a matter of freeing the account up from the attorneys. And like they said, he said the funds should be available this morning. He's on his way down right now with his lawyer to the bank to get the final check, hopefully.
Okay.
So.
Is there anything else you'd like me to know?
I think that's about it. We got everything applied for. It's just a matter of getting the FPL, the water, and all of the utilities shut off and the temporary fence put on, then we're ready to go.
Okay.
So.
And I'll turn back to the town now. My previous order required, as you said, obtaining a permit within 30 days of the date of the order, which was June 4th. So that date would have been around July 4th. And I believe, let's just verify, the fine amount was an up to $250 a day fine. What kind of fine is the town seeking at this time?
It would be up to a $250 a day fine. I guess at this point in time, okay. Wait, let me confer here. I don't want to get myself in the building official trouble.
We have no problem paying the administrative fees today.
Yeah, sir, the predicament that I'm in is that we were at the last hearing and we discussed the timeline by which you were
Yeah.
amenable to comply.
Yeah.
So we structured that order based on what we thought you could achieve and what you agreed that you could achieve. So unfortunately, today's hearing, we have to start a fine running because you've missed the
Yeah.
first of the two deadlines.
I understand.
So,
Well, it should only be for a day or two, because the funds should be freed up today or this week at the very latest, and we should be having a temporary fence put on the property. FPL should be shut off probably by the end of this week. The water will be shut off, and then once those things get shut off, then we can actually turn in the permit. Because I can't turn in the permit until all these things are done
Right, I
first, ahead of
understand
time.
But then in terms of, because you're.
And I had to get a survey of the property also
Right, I
to put up the
understand.
temporary fence I had to put an actual temporary fence permit also in conjunction with the demolition permit. So it's a little more complicated than just a demolition permit.
Right,
Because the demolition permit requires all these things, utilities be shut off,
certainly.
the survey, the temporary stuff, and So I didn't realize that we'd have to do that, and Mr. Escobar was still staying at the property, so we trying to leave the property, the power on until he actually gets out of there, so.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, I think, just given the fact, we can certainly sympathize with the property owner's predicament. However, we also have to sympathize with the neighbors who have had to look at this property for the period of time that they've had to do it. So at a minimum, we would recommend at least $200 per day, Your Honor.
Okay. And would you be seeking that fine beginning from the 31st day? Because we're
Yes, Your
now 2
Honor.
months into the
Yes.
to the
Yes,
to the
we would.
deadline.
So we would be seeking that fine would start, I guess, essentially July 5th. And hopefully, and I think Mr. Brito knows that, yes, once he can get that stuff done, to get it in for the permit as soon as possible, so that way we can stop that portion, stop that fine.
The fine would start from July 5th?
July 5th, because the compliance was supposed to be on July 4th.
Correct. The previous order required compliance within 30 days.
The permit was supposed to be submitted by then. I didn't know if it was going to be pulled or finished by that time, because the process of completing the permit.
Right. At the
You know,
last
just I
hearing-
applied for the permit, paid for the fees, got the permit submitted, and then it was a matter of filling out the stuff. So I actually have been working on the permit.
Right. No,
And
and I
I got
understand
a
that.
surveyor, picking up the survey this morning for the temporary fencing, had to put in for a temporary fencing, had to get and I had the sewer, septic tank drained, so all my stuff, I've been working on it, and it's in order, so I don't feel like that, it should be from the 5th of July. I actually applied for the thing, paid for the permit, and it's not like I disregarded anything. I have been working on the permit,
Right.
so
And
I had to give at least a little slack till, at least till this week at least, and have the fine start from this week on or something.
again, what was the date that you applied for the permit?
I can't remember, it was in July, beginning of July.
Okay. So the issue I have
It
there is
was
that
before the 4th of July.
does the town have any documentation?
I thought Mr. Brito had kind of indicated that he had applied around July 8th, but I could
July
be
8th
wrong.
is,
But
yeah.
But the other concern is that I believe the prior order very clearly states that he has to obtain the permit.
right,
And
and
that's
that-
the reason we had that language in there, was that we knew just applying for it, we didn't want that. We wanted
Correct.
you to have to obtain the permit, because you can apply for it all day long, but
Right.
it's the obtaining is the key thing.
Correct, and that's my recollection of the previous hearing as well, that we discussed not just having applied for the permit, but actually obtaining the permit, going all the way to the end and having the permit issued to you, was what was required within that 30-day period, so.
I don't think the 30 days was a realistic view of how long it would take to obtain the permit. I think I'd give a little leeway on there as to, because it's not like I haven't been doing anything for the permit. I've been working on it daily to get stuff done, working with the owner, trying to resolve his financial issues. And, I've been trying my best to accommodate the city as to the best I can, and trying to get this thing off the ground and get it moving. So I feel that the fine should start as of today or something.
Yeah,
As of the 6th.
unfortunately, sir, that's wasn't what I ruled previously, so I'm committed to that ruling from the prior hearing. So, while I sympathize, we discussed, and I specifically asked you at the previous hearing whether you could meet those timelines, and your response to me at that hearing was that you could. So, we're here today, and you applied not even within the 30-day period, but it sounds like after.
July 8th.
Okay, and
Yeah.
so
So,
33 days, 34
I
days,
applied
whatever.
for the permit before the 4th.
The
So,
town's
July 8th.
testimony is that your application came in on the 8th of
No,
July.
that was
Okay,
July 8th.
so that's 4 days after the deadline
Okay.
that you were supposed to have obtained the permit. So, as I said again, once we get to fine assessment, I'm in
I
a,
think I couldn't turn it in
difficult-
before the 4th because of the holidays. That was the thing with the holidays on the 4th. It fell in the middle of the week and everybody was off down there.
right, I
I
understand
could
that,
have
sir,
turned it
but
in
the
before.
order, the previous hearing was at the beginning of June, on the 4th of June. So you could have applied any time after June 4th,
Yeah.
between June 4th and July 4th, which was your 30-day window. But not only did you need to apply, you needed to have obtained the permit from the town. So unfortunately, today I'm gonna find first that, anything further from you, sir?
No, that should do.
Okay, I'm gonna find that notice was sufficient, you had actual notice of today's fine assessment hearing, at the previous hearing. So I'm gonna find notice is sufficient, I'm gonna enter again into the record the previous, evidentiary case file, which is Exhibit 1. And in addition, the new cost recovery sheet for today's hearing. I'm going to assess a fine today in the amount of $200 a day, beginning on July 5th, and continuing until the respondent achieves compliance with regard to obtaining a permit. We need to also reset this for next month's fine assessment hearing for the second component of this order.
Well, I'm not sure if the second component, if those days would have run by then.
It actually would have, the 90 days is September 2nd,
Okay,
which is the day before our next hearing, so we can set it, it's your discretion, we can set it to October if you want, but I'd like to set the hearing date
You want
today since the
October?
respondent is here.
I think if we can set it for October,
Okay.
we would like to,
Do you have the date of that hearing?
I can in just a minute here, let's do, okay. October 1st. October 1st at 10. So if we could do that, and I guess also if we could, in your order, the cost recovery for today's hearing, we can give them 30 days to pay, but if they can pay within 30 days, that's what we'd request, Your Honor.
Sure, so again, I'm gonna find that the respondent did not obtain the required permit within the 30-day period specified in the previous order dated June 1st. So as I stated, I'm gonna assess a fine of $200 per day beginning July 5th and continuing until compliance is achieved. We're gonna reset this case for the October 1st fine assessment hearing, to speak again about whether the demolition occurs timely based on the previous order as well, which still have a portion of your 90 days to comply there. As the town has asked, I'm going to assess the administrative cost in the amount of $386 for today's hearing. Any questions about this ruling, sir?
No, I understand.
Okay, and you'll get an order in the mail from the town, which will reiterate what I've just stated, for your records and for your client's records. Anything further from the town on this one?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you,
Should I take
sir.
care of the administrative fee for the last hearing today, or do I?
Typically, you want a signed order before they pay, right? Is that,
Well, it doesn't matter. If we know the amount, you can pay the amount now, if you wish. And I think you could probably check with the front there, and they can tell you the exact amount that, so, yes. Now,
Okay.
if you wish to pay, I'm sure we'll take your money.
okay, thank you. Moving to the violation hearings?
Yes. And this is on 11 Coconut Lane, Your Honor, and I will give you, and I would like the file to be entered into evidence, and it would be exhibits 1 through number 7, or one through 8. Sorry about that, Your Honor. And there is a cost recovery on this, which is exhibit number 8, which is in the amount of $267.40 as well. Let me go ahead and give you the file, and if that can be entered into the evidence, and then Mr. Cameron can testify as to the violations on that property.
Okay, thank you.
And as you can see, that there are two alleged violations, 30-173 and 67-174A1, and I will let Mr. Cameron talk to you about that.
The violation speaks specifically to the swimming pool. I first observed this on March 14th, and we notified the property owner to address the issue. went through the courtesy process, giving them the opportunity to do that. Up to as much as yesterday afternoon, it still has not been addressed. I did speak with the property owner on Friday, who promised that they would have taken care of this, and they're back in New York, and therefore, they're gonna have a contractor take care of the situation. I requested an email be sent indicating which contractor. At this point, nothing has been forthcoming. And the situation continues to exist as it is.
Okay, and I presume there's photographs of the violations somewhere in here?
There's one photograph.
Okay.
and exhibits.
And I think if you want, Mr. Cameron could probably give you some further testimony on the condition of the pool. He also has a picture on his phone if you want to see that as well.
Okay, certainly.
Okay, so if you want to, yeah, go ahead and.
I apologize for not printing this, but this is what it looked like on March 14th.
Okay. Okay,
That's the most recent one that you have in the file.
in the file,
This is
okay.
it there.
Okay. And what is the town seeking as a remedy in this case?
We are well, I don't know, I mean, compliance, which they can achieve, I think it would be very easy to achieve compliance in this case. I'll let Mr. Cameron,
Yeah, Your Honor, no permit is required for this, it's just basic compliance. It's a mosquito issue that very easily can get out of hand. And it's been sitting for quite a while.
It is the issue that the pump is not working, is there,
That's the problem.
okay,
So, and a permit's not required for it, just gotta get a contractor over there, get the pump turned on, get some chlorine in there.
okay,
Basic maintenance is what's required,
okay,
but they failed to do that.
okay. So in terms of a timeline, are you thinking 30 days?
30 days,
Okay,
yes, Your Honor.
and if they fail to do that, a fine in the amount of, let's, like the last order, up to $250 per day.
and today's the 6th, so we should set this for fine assessment, same October date, since we missed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything further from the town?
No.
Okay, in case number 2019-004B, 11 Coconut Lane, I'm gonna find that the notice documents provided indicate that notice is proper in this case, of both the violation and of today's hearing. I'm going to find that the property, based on the testimony of town staff and photographs included in the exhibits, which I'm entering into evidence as composite exhibit 1, which includes exhibits 1 through 8. I'm gonna find that based on the testimony, the verbal testimony, as well as the photographs, that the respondent is in violation of both sections 30-173 and 67-174A1 regarding the condition of the pool, which appears to be not maintained. I'm going to require that the respondent comply with these code sections within 30 days or be assessed a fine of up to $250 per day. I'm also gonna require the respondent to appear at the October 1st fine assessment hearing in the event that compliance is not achieved, and I'll also assess the administrative costs for today's hearing in the amount of $267.40, payable within 30 days.
Yes.
Okay. And that's it.
Yes, it is. We have nothing further.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
adjourned at